Hello friends, Self-Discipline is a book about the biggest battle of your life, the battle with yourself. When we make excuses, when we procrastinate, when we turn away from our own dreams, there is one thing that can save us: self-discipline. And it is this strength, this secret that we have brought for you today. Namaste friends, welcome to CHNGE World, where we don't just read books, we live them. Today we will learn how a book like Self-Discipline can burn away the laziness hidden within you and transform you into a person who never gives up. Please watch until the end of the video because this is not just a book, it is a weapon for your biggest battle. Chapter 1: Self-Discipline and Success. Imagine a cold morning. The clock shows 5 a.m. It's foggy outside. The bed is warm. The sleep is sweet. And just then the alarm rings. Now you decide whether to get up or not. This one small decision determines the direction of your destiny. This is where the real story of self-discipline begins. Everyone wants to become successful, to do something big, to live their dreams. But the path is not easy, because this path is built not with motivation, but with discipline. Motivation stays with you for a few hours or a few days, but discipline is the force that pulls you in the right direction every day, in every situation, whether you feel like it or not. Now, a question. Is success a miracle? Is someone a born genius? No. Success comes to those who learn to control themselves. Those who rise above their emotions and take action. Those who, instead of saying they didn't get a chance, create opportunities themselves. This is the difference between an average person and an extraordinary achiever. Discipline doesn't mean you are always inspired. It means you consider your goals so important that no matter what happens, you will not retreat. Sometimes you will be tired, bored, and feel like giving up. But if you have discipline, you will do what you don't feel like doing, simply because it is important. It's exactly like an athlete who practices every day, rain or shine. They know that if they push their limits a little every day, one day they will become the king of the field. Self-discipline pulls you out of excuses. Teaches you that no matter how strong your emotions are, you can be stronger. Have you ever noticed that successful people are always in a routine? They plan things, implement them, and evaluate them. They are not whimsical. They are predictable. And this consistency is what sets them apart. Chapter 2: Self-Discipline and Responsibility. Think for a moment. If your life were a movie, who would be its director? Your family, your friends, your circumstances, or you yourself? The truth is, many people hand over the control of their movie to others. Someone says, "I couldn't do it because I didn't have the resources." Someone says, "I just didn't get the opportunity." And some people spend their whole lives thinking, "Fate didn't support me." But there is one truth that is very bitter, and yet just as liberating. You are 100% responsible for your life. Yes, you. Your happiness, your income, your health, your success. All of this depends on your choices. This sounds easy to hear, but is very difficult to accept, because blaming is very easy. If something goes wrong, we immediately blame someone else, the system, the economy, parents, teachers, or luck. But as long as we keep holding others responsible, we will not have the power to change ourselves. Taking responsibility means accepting that I have a role in whatever is happening in my life. And when you accept this, a magical transformation begins within you. Because now you are no longer a victim. You become a creator. Every morning when you wake up, ask yourself one question. What is one thing I can do today that will make my life a little better? This mindset sets you apart from the crowd. But this path is not easy, because when you consider yourself responsible, the wall of excuses collapses. Now you face your failures and take accountability for your actions. When a child falls, the mother says, "It's okay, try again." But when an adult falls in life, they often say, "The system is broken." In reality, growth begins where blaming ends. When you accept that, yes, this was my mistake, you also gain the power to improve. This is very powerful. In real life, the people who become extraordinary see every situation as an opportunity. No matter how bad the circumstances, they tell themselves, "I will take charge. I will fix this." And this very attitude turns them from a common person into a leader. Without self-discipline, this is not possible. Discipline teaches you to live by principles, not by emotions. When the world says, give up, the person who takes responsibility says, let me try one more time. There must have been many moments in your life where you could have blamed someone. But tell me the truth. Did blaming change anything? No. What changed was when you did something yourself. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you take the blame for others' mistakes. It means you recognize your own power. You have the capacity to change the situation, no matter how difficult it is. Imagine if every person took 100% responsibility for their life, how powerful the world would become. No one would be left behind because everyone would be focused on moving forward. No complaints, only improvement. And if today you are thinking, I don't have time, I can't do it, or my background wasn't right, then just pause for a moment and ask yourself, do I want to be the driver of my life, or sit in the back seat and let others decide the path? Responsibility is a gift, painful but powerful. And if you start adopting it from today, a new chapter will open in your life. Because real freedom begins where you become the owner of your decisions. Chapter 3: Self-Discipline and Goals. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever thought about what you want in life? What do you truly want? Some people say, I want to be rich. Some say, I want to earn a lot of fame. And some just say, I just want to be happy. But when you ask them, by when? How? Which path? The answer is silence. Why? Because most people dream, but they don't know how to turn them into goals. And without a goal, life is like a journey without a map. No direction, no destination. Now imagine you get into a taxi and tell the driver, take me anywhere. Will he be able to take you to your destination? No. Exactly this happens when we don't have clear goals in life. We just keep moving, sometimes here, sometimes there, and then sit down tired, thinking, perhaps my luck was bad. But the truth is, it wasn't luck, the direction was wrong. There is a deep relationship between self-discipline and goals. Discipline is the fuel that pushes you towards your goal every day. It becomes the reason to wake up early. It gives you the courage to turn off your phone and the strength to fight distractions. But the goal is your North Star. Without it, even discipline wanders off. Let's take a real-life example. There are two boys, Arjun and Deepak. Both join the gym on the same day. For the first week, both are full of enthusiasm. But after 2 months, Deepak disappears. Arjun is still in the gym, pushing his body every day. Why? Because Arjun didn't just join the gym. He made a crystal-clear goal: a fit body, defined muscles, and a healthier version of myself in 6 months. He had a vision. Deepak, on the other hand, only had motivation which evaporated within a week. This is the difference between a dream and a goal. A dream is just a fantasy, but a goal is a roadmap to turn a fantasy into reality. Making a goal doesn't just mean thinking. Making a goal is a written commitment, a promise you make to yourself. And when you make this promise, discipline helps you keep it. Many people think that setting goals is restrictive, but the truth is it gives you freedom. Freedom from confusion, freedom from regret, freedom from wasting time. When you know what you want, saying no becomes easy. You can stay away from distractions without guilt because your focus is fixed on your goal. Discipline doesn't let you stop, and goals don't let you wander. Remember, a goal without action is just a wish, and action without discipline doesn't last. Now, close your eyes for a moment and imagine that you have achieved everything you want. A better career, financial freedom, emotional stability, physical fitness, a meaningful relationship. Now open your eyes and think, are you walking in that direction every day? If not, then perhaps you still need to set a goal. A goal that scares you, excites you, and gives you a place outside the comfort zone you are stuck in. Start small, but definitely start. And once you write down what you want, a new clarity comes into your eyes, and then discipline starts pulling you towards that destination. Any big achievement starts with a small clarity. What do I want? And moves forward with a small courage. What can I do every day to achieve it? So just do this today. Pick up a notebook and write down one goal.
No excuses, no delay.
Just write it. Because when you give yourself a direction, the entire universe, and even your own discipline starts helping you. And then a goal is no longer a dream. It becomes your future. Chapter 4. Self-discipline and persistence. Have you ever thought about those people who constantly fall but still keep getting up? How do they do it? Everyone talks about talent. They talk about luck. But the thing that works most quietly and shows the most impact is persistence, i.e., to endure. Let me tell you a truth. Millions of people in this world start their dreams every year. Someone starts a business, someone a fitness journey, someone wants to write a book, someone chooses the path of a new career. But only a few people reach the destination. Why? Because starting is easy, but enduring is very difficult. And this is where the real role of self-discipline comes in. Persistence is not a glamorous thing. It gets no applause, no spotlight. It is with you when everyone else has left. When you are tired. When you see that you are getting no results, you still say, "I will not stop." Imagine a child learning to walk. They fall repeatedly, get hurt repeatedly, but stand up again every time because they don't know what it means to lose. Their brain understands failure not as an obstacle, but as a process. So when did we, as adults, learn to give up? Persistence doesn't mean you will never fail. It means that after every failure, you will stand up again and try again. Not once, but 100 times, right? Take a real-life example. Thomas Edison conducted over 1,000 experiments to create the electric bulb. People laughed, they mocked. But he chose not to stop. He learned something from every failure and ultimately turned darkness into light. Now you might be thinking, that was Edison. I'm just a normal person. But listen, there was no magic in Edison. His magic was his discipline and his persistence. And that stubbornness, that perseverance is inside you too. Every time you say, "I can't do it today. I'm tired now. Maybe I'm just not made for this." At that very moment, you take a step back from the edge where perhaps your victory was waiting for you. Success never moves in a straight line. It's like a zigzag road, where sometimes there's an uphill climb and sometimes a downhill relief. But those who keep walking on that zigzag path eventually reach the highest peaks. Now imagine you started a YouTube channel. For the first few weeks, you got no views, no subscribers. If you didn't have persistence, you might have stopped right there. But the creator who uploads videos every day, learns something new every day, understands the audience, is the one who goes viral one day. Similarly, a writer who sees a blank page and still writes. An entrepreneur who gets rejected repeatedly but still pitches. An athlete who practices every day, even if no one is watching. All these people are silently, patiently, bringing themselves closer to success. Self-discipline tells you to work even when you don't feel like it, and persistence teaches you to keep walking even when the path is blurry. There's a saying, "Winners never quit and quitters never win." This is not just a quote, it's the truth. Those who keep trying eventually win the game, no matter the field. And yes, sometimes you will be tired. Sometimes it will feel like everything is useless. But this is where you remind yourself, I have come this far. Stopping is not an option now. Self-discipline is a muscle, and persistence is its endurance. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. So next time you feel like giving up, just pause and ask yourself, can I take one more step? Because it's possible that that very next step changes the direction of your entire journey. Chapter 5. Self-discipline and time management. Think about it. If you had a bank account where 86,400 units were deposited every morning, but with one condition, the money you didn't use that day would disappear at night, what would you do? Absolutely, you would use every single unit. Now, know one more thing. Every human has such an account. The only difference is that it doesn't contain money, but time. Every day you get 86,400 seconds, and if you don't invest them correctly, they are lost forever. This is time, the most precious, most limited, and most underrated resource. Now, a question. How do you treat your time? Do you wake up every morning with a clear plan? Or does the day start with confusion? What to do today? Where to start? Actually, many people are busy but not productive. They run around all day, get stuck in small things, and at night say tiredly, I couldn't do anything big today either. And this is where the real role of self-discipline and time management comes in. Managing time is not a technique. It's a mindset. It is the very art that makes a common person uncommon. Because whoever controls time, controls life. Now let's consider a real-life scenario. Suppose there are two people, Rohit and Karen. Both have the same job in the same office with similar salaries. But Rohit wakes up early every morning and makes a full schedule for the day. He knows which task he has to do at 10 a.m., what the priority is in the afternoon, and how much time he needs for self-growth in the evening. On the other hand, there's Karen. He hits snooze, wakes up late, rushes to the office, checks his phone repeatedly during work, and by evening, feels frustrated with himself. Now, you tell me, how different will their lives be in a few years? Just because of discipline and time management, Rohit will reach a level where people will say, man, he's so lucky. But the truth will be that he created his own luck with discipline and planning. The first rule of time management is to make every day intentional. That is, it should be decided even before the day begins what you want to achieve. Discipline gives you the power to avoid distractions. When your phone rings repeatedly, when Netflix calls you, when friends' invitations come, even then you choose your goal. You respect your time. Time management is not a boring routine. It is a way of self-respect. When you say, I don't have time, you are actually saying, it's not a priority for me. Because the truth is, we all have the same amount of time as any billionaire. The difference is only in how they use every minute and how we use ours. Self-discipline teaches you that every task has a right time. It teaches you how important it is to differentiate between urgent and important. Because those who only run after urgent tasks can never focus on important goals. Successful people spend the most productive hours of the day, the morning hours, on their most difficult and impactful tasks, while others waste those hours scrolling and snoozing. Now a short story. There was a student who had to prepare for an exam. He had 10 days, but every day he kept procrastinating. I'll start tomorrow. And in the last 2 days he tried to cram everything in a panic. But the result was a fail. On the other hand, there was another student who decided on 2 hours every day just for study. He avoided distractions, followed the schedule, and topped the result. What was the difference? Same syllabus, same number of days. Just that one mastered time and the other wasted it. Today, as you are listening to this, you probably also have such goals that you have been postponing. I'll do it when I get time. I'll start when the right moment comes. These are all illusions. Because the truth is, the right time never comes. You have to create it. Time management and self-discipline can make you extraordinary from average. But only if you live every day consciously. So from today, wake up every morning with a plan. Decide which task will bring you closer to your goal, and then work on it without any distraction. Because it's not one day, not 1 hour, but the discipline of every single minute that will determine your destiny. And if you make time your friend, no power can stop you from succeeding. Conclusion. So now, as this journey nears its end, pause for a moment. Think, what have you gained from this book? Perhaps you learned that success is not a mystery. It's not magic. It is not a shortcut that only a few special people know. Success is a habit that comes to every person who learns to fight with themselves. Self-discipline is that very force that gets you up every morning and pushes you towards your mission. Even if you are tired, not in the mood, or the whole world is against you. This book doesn't just teach rules or techniques. It teaches you to wake up, to recognize your potential, to eliminate your excuses, and to break free from everything that has held you back until now. You learned that taking responsibility doesn't make you powerless. Rather, it is the first step to becoming powerful. You understood that without clear goals, you cannot reach anywhere. And without persistence, any journey remains incomplete. In every sphere, time, money, health, relationships, discipline is the real hero. The real message of this book is just one. No excuses. No reason, no cause has the license to stop you. Every time you make an excuse, you take a step back from the person you could have been. But if right here, right now, you resolve that now I will free myself from excuses, then believe me, you will become unstoppable. Because the biggest change in the world starts where one person says to themselves, "No more. Now I will conquer myself." So let's turn the last page of this book, but its real journey now begins, in your life, in your every action, in your every decision. Thank you.